Okay, cool, brilliant. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Frenzy Comedy, new material night. Give yourself a round of applause in the Zoom room. We are live streaming on YouTube. Really excited because this week we have a collaboration of acts who are doing new material and also acts who have sort of won the weekly joke of the week. So no pressure for you guys there at all. No pressure, but no, it's a really fun sort of night we're doing. So I don't really ask much from the acts so long as they just keep the clothes on. That's all. You'll be surprised. Yeah, it's fun. It's just a fun night where we have our acts this evening from different areas of the world. So for some, it's an afternoon gig. For others, it's an evening gig. So which is quite exciting. I'm really like it's nice that we're sort of getting lighter evenings, isn't it? I'm quite enjoying this. I'm still quite cold, but lighter evenings, and I'm really excited about the fact that finally this this diary I brought, yes, is filling up slowly, very slowly. I mean, I reckon they should now, have diaries at half price because there's not really been much to put in the diaries lately. But gigs are happening. I'm filling them up. I'm just looking in the Zoom room with our audience. We've got hi Clive, thanks for joining us. We've got Richard. Hi Richard, thanks for joining us and watching. Lovely. Hello, lovely wave there. Cool. Hope you enjoy this evening. We're in for a treat. This is. I mean, there's a few things I want to just mention before we start with the accent. I don't know about you, but I think Boris in the UK is just getting away with a little bit too much. Just too much. I mean, I got told off, the other day for eating cookies in a shopping centre. Yes, that's right. But Boris, no, he can do whatever he can, can't he? Can't he? He can do whatever he can. And then, I think, you know what? I wouldn't mind being Boris for a day. I know. It's hard to say, but I wouldn't, because if I was Boris for a day, what I would do, I'd walk out the door, no money in my pocket, go out and go shopping. That's right. Well, technically, it wouldn't be shopping because I wouldn't be buying it. Yeah. I would just take what I wanted. Has anyone seen that film, Blank Check? No, yeah. Blank Check, where this kid just literally just takes everything he wants. Yeah, I'd be like him, like Boris for a day. And then, fuck it, why not rob a couple of banks on the way? And I would be able to get away with it for one day because it'd be my word against my word. Because he has the say, doesn't he? Now, I recently got my hair done, which is quite nice. It's quite refreshing to have this done finally, because I was getting a little worried. I was beginning to look a little crazy, with or without roots. But then I was like, maybe it wasn't such a good idea to go blonde with what's going on, because I don't know if you guys knew that after the whole Hitler, when he, died, everyone stopped wearing moustaches. Men stop wearing moustaches, right? So I'm thinking now, what will happen, when Boris dies? Will people stop having blonde hair? Will this be the thing? Will everyone start dyeing their hair brown? Will albinos suddenly move to Sweden? Hairdressers will go out of work. We'll have men praying at the bedsides, praying to go bald just so they don't have blonde hair. I mean, what will it be like? Is it going to be like that? So I'm like, maybe I should go brown soon in case Boris does die and suddenly have a case of no blonde hair. So I will enjoy it while I can. Right, let's get on with our lovely acts. I'm really excited to have our acts. How are we in the Zoom room? We're looking cool, chilled. I like this. A nice sort of summer evening, cozy evening. So I can't wait to have our first act. She's brilliant. Let's start a round of applause from Jaleela. So for introduce our first act for Sophia Marmalade.
Thank you, Anna. This is a super fun show. Yeah, we have a nice. Is it all Brits here? Are you guys all British? Any Americans here or Canadians? Ooh. Wait, who is it?
American.
Me. Oh yes. All right, give it up for yourself. Okay, nice. All right, you guys. I got triggered recently because I burned an entire pot of cabbage and it smelled exactly like my dad's second wife. His second wife's name was Gina, and she smelled like a mix of Chanel No. 5, burnt cabbage, and she always had a raging camel toe. So that's just picture what she was like. I'm kind of embarrassed by my family though. Anybody else here embarrassed by their family? Yeah, okay. Yep, awesome. We have things in common. My family's Romanian and they're crazy. Like my uncle Bebe, he has 4 DUIs. And I think he's like the only person I know who doesn't have any shame about them. Do you guys call them DUIs in the UK?
We call it drunk driving over here.
Drunk driving. Okay, 4 drunk driving charges. And at like our Thanksgiving dinner, he was talking about his drunk driving charges and he was like, I don't understand why they make my insurance rate so high. He was like, what, State Farm does not want my money? And my other uncle's like, baby, they don't want you to drive. And then baby turns to me and he's just like, whatever happened to that nice boyfriend you had? You know, the one who you said gaslighted you? I always liked him. So, all right, that's what Thanksgiving dinner is like with my family. But I haven't dated in a while. My last boyfriend was a very creative gaslighter. Any gaslighters in the house?
They wouldn't tell you anyway.
Yeah, that's true. All right. I was just waiting for you guys to show yourselves. Yeah, so we went like hiking together one time and we were out in the western US and we saw this sign at the beginning of the trail that said, warning, mountain lion on the loose. And I was like, we should probably leave. And he was like, don't worry. He was like, baby, I could beat a mountain lion's ass. And I was like, no, you can't. And he genuinely was like, baby, why don't you trust me? It's like, it's not you. I just don't trust this mountain lion, which is like a sentence I never thought I would say. So, we went on the hike anyway, and every step we took, I was like, I'm one step closer to watching my boyfriend get his ass beat by a mountain lion. So that's just what I was thinking. I used to go to a really fancy gym before COVID. You'd see like businessmen reading the newspaper in the steam room, and the newspaper would be like slowly disintegrating. And as soon as their thumbs were poking holes in the newspaper, that's when I'd be like, sir, I think you've been in here for too long. But my favorite pickup line I've ever experienced in the steam room was this Eastern European man sat next to me, and he just turned to me and he was like, I never sit in steam room next to a woman before. And then he's just like in my country, I could never even dream of sitting next to a woman in high humidity. So yeah, it was kind of romantic. How much time do I have?
You've got 2 more minutes.
Oh, okay, great. So you guys, my first job ever was collecting donations from the alumni from my university. I was super bad, and one day they assigned me to talk to the farmers. And I did like small talk with farmers, and I had no idea how to talk to them because I was talking to this one farmer, and I was like, oh, so you're a farmer? I was like, what kind of food do you grow? He was super offended by this question. He was like, oh, you mean what kind of crops do I raise? I was like, all right, sorry. And what kind of animals do you breastfeed? Oh, you give them formula. Okay, great, nice. So the last thing I did before the pandemic started was I went to Black Church with my neighbor. Super fun. And, but I never concentrated that hard on my clapping before. You know, I didn't want to be the weakest link because you know what they say, you're only as strong as your whitest clapper. But during the service, the pastor was like, does anyone want us to pray for them? And my neighbor, he just pointed to me and he was like, she needs it. And they had me go up to the front of the church. And when I was up there, the pastor, he just like put his hand on my head and he was just like, Lord, please pray for this depressed white woman. And then later on in the service, my neighbor was like, she does stand up. And I'm not afraid to admit it, but I did get some stage time at this church. I'm a comedian first, Baptist second. So yeah, all right. I have like less than a minute left. Yeah, all right. So using my time wisely.
I want to hear you impersonate your black neighbor again.
Okay, you want me to impersonate my black? I wasn't impersonating him. I was like, I wasn't. All right, I don't want to be offensive. If I am, I'm so sorry. This is an apology. So, I'm sorry if I have crudely made fun of my black neighbor. All right, that's how I'm gonna end. Thank you.
Lovely. Hey. Marmalade. Brilliant. I like that. So double stage time, you know, you got, you know, the pastor, and that's very cool. I like the way you talk about gyms and theme rooms and saunas. I love saunas and things, but I'm the size. I'm not even 5 foot, and so I get a lot of people when I go into leisure centres, sort of being a bit like, should I go on or not? Because children aren't allowed to go into saunas. It's a height restriction because they might get too hot. And I'm pretty much the size of a child, so I could see them going, oh, is she gonna be okay because of my height? So I miss a good sauna. Good, that was lovely, Sophia. Sophie, let's have our next act. Are we ready in the Zoom room? He's looking, where is he? He's there, looking very cool with his Jack shirt. Let's bring him on. A round of applause in the Zoom room for Chris Barnes. Yeah.
Hello. Recently, I got Siri on my phone. Siri, what is the best thing to do in Kent?
Do you want me to search for brothels in your area?
No.
I have found 38 brothels in your area.
No, thank you.
I can get you a discount if you do a group booking.
I've got no one to go with.
Calling your mother.
I started a new job. I started working in Asda, and someone said, "You're part of the Asda gang." And I said, "Isn't that the prison in Harry Potter?"
Oh,
I like doing Zoom gigs because it means I actually tidy my room, and I've got my new material drink, which means I'll drink that every time a joke doesn't work. Aqueduct. I was going to come on eating bamboo, but people said you shouldn't pander to the audience. I've got been heckled online. Someone said I've got McDonald's hair. I've got a McDonald's hairline. I have. What did I bring it up for? I used to go out with a girl from Babe Station, but she said, "Stop phoning me at work." I mounted my television the other day. I don't even fancy it. I come from a hard water area. When I put the tap on, it goes, "Would you would?" I've got a special guest. It's one of the special guests. It's footballing legend Wayne Rooney. There he is. Now, I can't do a Liverpool accent, so this can be fun. All right, Wayne. Hello there. Is that it? I do impressions as well. I do impressions. Hello, I'm Darth Vader. Also, everyone. Hello, I'm Anakin Skywalker. Because it's smaller. Never mind. Alan Key. It's Alan's name. It's Alan Key. I've got an inspiring quote from Churchill. £40 off your car insurance. Oh, yes. All right.
Do you still want me to order the strap-on dildo with 5 pumping speeds?
Not at the moment, no. Crop circles. This show never works, but crops. Yeah, it's a very geeky joke. I went on the Great British Bake Off, and Paul Hollywood didn't like my cake. Can't think why. No one puts baby in the corner. Baby on board. Baby bouncer. I've got hundreds of these. Van Gogh. I bought a Batman costume, so I had to wear it everywhere. So there's me on the tube wearing a Batman costume. There's me going on a day out with my mum and dad. And here's me dogging. Almost finished. Glory holes, that's a cottage industry. No, my panto career is behind me.
Oh, no, it isn't.
Oh, it is. Apparently, if you get stung by jellyfish, you're meant to piss on it. But if anything, it just made him more angry. Shouldn't dick pics actually be called junk mail? There you go. That'll do. I've been Chris Barnes. Thank you all.
Chris Barnes, fantastic. Chris, you've got a nice McDonald's hairline. It works. It works. And think you've got brown hair as well, so that's fine. In years to come, you won't be wishing your hair away for those blondes out there in case Boris dies. Good. Let's bring on our next act. Are we ready? She's back. Good to have her back from the US. So let's have a round of applause in the Zoom room for our next act for River Riley. Woo!
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'll dive right in. Almost a year ago, I moved back to America after 6 years of living in England, and I'm still working through my British baggage. And as it happened, the last shred of my innocence died while I was living in England, and I can tell you exactly when. It was the moment I discovered a classic English book that remains the most twisted, traumatizing thriller I've ever encountered. That book is Peter Rabbit. Bear with me now. Let's start at the beginning. Peter Rabbit begins with Peter Rabbit's mother reminding her children of their father's murder. She then beseeches them to avoid their father's fate by doing one simple thing. Don't trespass in their father's murderer's garden. This is classic horror movie stuff. Stay away from the murder house. So Peter, who's got to be the most idiotic rabbit ever, immediately goes against his mother's advice and spends the entire book desperately trying to evade his father's killer. And all this for a bloody radish. I remember distinctly where I was when I discovered the truth about Beatrix Potter and Peter Rabbit. I was having a meltdown similar to this one in a small Peter Rabbit themed shop in the idyllic Lake District. A British woman was nearby enjoying my distress. And when I paused to just feel the anguish, she interjected, "Oh yes, it's horrible, isn't it? That's how they teach us Brits not to feel things." And that woman is 100% correct. My time in England taught me a lot about the British people, but the most striking thing I learned is that there is a single context in which it is permissible for a British person to express emotions, and that is the Great British Bake Off. So in the States, we call it the Great British Baking Show, and many Americans, including myself, enjoy it because it seems so soothing and civilized. You know, there's nice flouncy music, and the contestants drink tea while they wait for their bread to prove. So calm, so civilized. Like, the most scandalous things that have happened involved someone accidentally using another baker's custard and someone removing a baked Alaska from a freezer prematurely. On the other hand, American baking shows are shot like a psychological thriller. The score is music rejected from the Saw franchise for being too over the top. And the stakes are massively inflated. So the contestants compete for money and they share wrenching sob stories about why they need it. Like, I saw a baking show where a contestant went into how they used to be in a gang and they served hard time in federal prison. And then they discovered the joy of baking. And now they bake poodle cakes for their little daughter. And they direly need the prize money to fix their car that got totaled in a freak pastry delivery accident. So they can keep taking their daughter to desperately needed physical therapy after the croissant avalanche. But I've come to realize that relative to baseline levels of British emotional expression, the Great British Bake Off is just as dramatic. And I think that's why thousands of Brits apply to be on it. Like, no one, not even a Brit, wants to bake a meat pie from the Dark Ages, which is actually one of the challenges. They do it because this baking show is their only chance to fully experience human emotion. And as each week passes and bakers get eliminated one by one, those precious opportunities to acknowledge their fragile human selves pass and the stakes rise. Like, I was watching one of the final episodes where they interview the contestants' families, and now all of those family members get a little piece of the British feelings pie. Before the reveal, they were interviewing one of the contestants' wives, and she had tears in her eyes, and she was visibly choking up as she croaked to the camera, "Richard's just such a good baker." And like, what a thing for us all to witness. Now, that woman has been married to that man for 20 years. They maybe have never said out loud that they love each other, and they've communicated their affection entirely with scones and sponge cake. And now she's trying to convey a marriage's worth of profound love in a 20-second interview on the Great British Bake Off, while her husband frantically bakes a weird-ass English fruit loaf. I hope you can forgive me for making fun of Englishness. My country is literally on fire because of the horrifically American concept of a gender reveal party. So this gentle mockery is almost all I have left. So thank you so much for bearing with me. That's me.
Lovely. Right.
Yay.
Brilliant. Yes, British Bake Off. It's an emotional journey for anyone who goes on that. Fantastic cake, though. Oh, man, give me cake and I'll be happy every day. Lovely. Let's have our next act. Are we ready for our next act? So he's looking, let's find him in the Zoom room. He's nodding his head. He's looking cool. Okay, let's have a round of applause in the Zoom room for Benny Shakes.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Benny Shakes, which sounds like I should be serving drinks at a political party. There's a whole class system with disabled people. I've got middle rate cerebral palsy, so that means I'm poor. My mate Steve is a triple amputee. He gets a BMW wheelchair. The lucky git. I would give my right arm for one of them, wouldn't you? I've started skip diving, and you can find a lot in a skip. Antiques, garden furniture. It's just like going to B&Q. The skips have got better ramps. I used to work at Summerfields, and by the end of the shift, I would end up looking like I've been at a Bugs party. It wasn't for me, that job. I got some bad habits. At the end of the day, I would get murdered. I love gardening. I love growing tomato plants, but I don't like tomatoes. As soon as the fruit appears, I put on weed killer. I hate snails. They keep eating my cabbages. So I put down bee traps. They have gone away now, but I've got 6 alcoholics at the bottom of the garden. Last year, at the of my garden. Last year, the government closed me down as I was a pup. I had to furlough all of my family. I'm looking forward to Keir Starmer visiting my pub so I can kick him out. I've been trying to cut down on my food bill lately. I have a friend who goes game shooting. Last week he gave me a wood pigeon. I'm still getting the splinters out of my mouth. Anyway, I'm bored. I've been Benny Shakes. Good night and thank you.
Lovely.
Hey.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Let's keep that going for our next act. Let's keep that lovely round of applause going. It's really good to have him on Frenzy. He's looking very ready in this yellow cool chair. So we have keep that going. And of course for Glenn Brayley. Cool.
Woo!
Thanks, everybody. I'm going to start off by talking about unrealistic portion sizes. So this is something that winds me up a little bit. I was at the supermarket a few days ago, and at the checkout, there was this packet. And on the top of the packet, it said in this big yellow circle, 95 calories. So I thought, that's great. I'm a bit peckish. I'll buy that. Paid for all my shopping, and I was eating the things on the way back to the car. I turned it over to see if there were any other great flavours available, because I was really enjoying them. And I see on the back, it says 95 calories per portion, 2 portions per packet. And this bag's this big. How can something that big have 2 portions in it? It's like when you go to the supermarket and you buy a cheesecake and it says 400 calories a portion, serves 8. No, it doesn't. It serves me. Get used to it. This is bullshit. And like with sweets as well, most sweets don't give you it in a useful format, like 70 calories per 6 sweets or something like you can actually count out. It does it per 100 grams. So if you want to try and ration your children and impose some sort of dietary restriction, you've got to carry around a little set of scales like you're some sort of fucking sweetie dealer. And that's something that bothers me because I do have 2 kids. I've got my daughter Amelia, who is 11, going on Satan. And my son Oscar, who is 9, going on and on and on about dinosaurs. So Amelia's really interesting. Amelia's unusual, should we say. For a while, there was this period in time where Amelia would just appear in the doorway and come out with something completely outrageous, and it would catch me totally off guard. Like one time I was in the kitchen making dinner. She walked into the doorway and went, "Smells like poppers in here." I went, "Pardon?" He said, "Poppers." I went, "I'm really not following you, love. What are poppers?" Obviously, you've got to play it dumb. And she goes, "The things with the peppers and the cheese." I went, "Oh, right, jalapeno poppers." It's really important that if you tell anyone else about that, you say jalapeno. Don't go back to school tomorrow and tell your teacher that my fucking kitchen smells like poppers. Oscar's a great kid as well. He's autistic. He's so loving, but he just struggles to understand some things. Like he likes to express his love by trying to give me food. And I read a little paper online because I try and learn how to be a good parent. And it said on there, children don't really have much to give. So they try and express their affection by giving you food, so that you should accept it. Because normally I say, no, that's for you, that's your food, you have it, because obviously I want him to grow big and strong. So I started taking the food from him, and a few days later, I was out for a drive with him, and just out of nowhere, he turns to me and goes, Dad. I go, yes, son? I'd never poison you. So he's a Russian agent on the sly. I'm waiting to see him trying to sneak off to Salisbury when I'm not paying attention. But going back to my daughter, the other things that she's come out with and her big dramatic things. One day she came into the house, and as I opened the door, she went, "You no longer have a daughter." I went, "Oh, right, okay." And I went, "Your mum did tell me you're non-binary," you said. And she goes, "Yeah." I went, "Okay, that's good, because for a little while you were so cold and emotionless, I did worry you were a robot." Binary don't need to work, clearly. But when she said that to me, again, you know, I'm trying to do research and learn and be open to these things. So I never had anything like that when I was a kid. So I started doing Google search online. So she told me that she identified, well, he told me that he identified as a demi boy. So I'd never heard of a demi boy. So I went online and I put in, what is a demi boy? I did it in like safe protective mode, so it's not going to show up on the history, because I'm not having that turn up on the Google. And one of the first things that appeared on there was somebody's screen speaker going on in the background. One of the things that appeared on there, the first thing in the list, it said, "What are the 47 genders?" I thought, 47? I haven't got a hope. No matter how hard I try, I'm never going to memorize all of that. I think it's hard for children nowadays because they don't really have any sort of rites of passage, do they? I mean, like there's a tribe in Papua New Guinea called the Atora tribe, where in order to be seen as an adult, you have to drink the semen of the elders of the tribe. And I think that's really quite good, because it teaches children that adulthood sucks and it's hard to swallow. I've got one more to go, I think, and then I shall disappear because I don't want to take up too much of your time. But my boy Oscar, he loves playing computer games, and we were playing one game one day where you've got to kill these giant insects, and you can get all sorts of wondrous weapons, and he loved the rocket launchers, but he didn't call them rocket launchers, he called them torpedo launchers. So he got one that shot off 5 rockets, and he was there firing it at the aliens, and he just shouts, so, "Yeah, multi-pedo." So naturally, I didn't feel a pressing need, though, to correct him at that point, because let's face it, if you're out in public and somebody shouts multi-pedo, you're not going to look around for some sort of like 7-headed paedophile, are you? You're just going to think, what on earth are you talking about? So then we carried on playing it, and you unlock more guns as you go on, and you've got this massive rocket launcher that fires huge rockets and just destroy everything. And we were fighting one of the big bosses, and he got the rocket launcher out, and he shot it, and it blew up, and he just went, "Yeah, mega pedo." So that's the point when I had to say to him, look, if you're going to say that, you have to say torpedo, okay? You can't just say the syllable pedo, because if you say that word, Oscar, means somebody that wants to do horrible things to children. And he goes, "Okay, Dad, okay, yeah, I get it." So then the following day, he went to play tennis with my dad and his girlfriend. So Oscar's really good at tennis, and he's running around, he's getting to all the shots, and he gets really gets hold of one, bang, just belts it, and the ball goes flying off, and again he just goes, "Mega pedo." What an impossible position to be in. I'm on the tennis court surrounded by people. It's not like I can just do a double take over my shoulder, because then I look like what? I look like some sort of sweetie way in mega pedo. So I had to try and play it a little bit cool, and like I just waited a moment, I just sort of subtle glance around, and nobody was looking, so it was fine. But I did notice there was a guy in the background that did up his Mac and fucked off pretty quick. There we go, guys. That's my lot for you.
Brilliant. Lovely. Go Brady. Brilliant. Wow, Glenn. I think your son could be your bit like, I don't know, he could be your bodyguard when you get older.
Yeah, you get it that way.
Get all those mega pedos out of the way, all those protect you with words. Love it. Really fun. Thanks, Glenn. Let's keep that going in the Zoom room for our next act. Good to have you back as well. So round of applause in the Zoom room. Keep it going. Whoop, a bit more than that. Yes.
Woo.
Hi everyone, my name's Mark and I'm recently single. So I'm 30 years old and I'm recently single. And when I say recently single, I mean the past 3 decades of my life. But joking aside, it's very difficult going through a breakup. And so what I found actually helped me was walking to my local forest to practice my set. But then I always sort of thought, you know, if an open mic comedian tells a joke in the woods and there's no audience around to hear it, is it still not funny? But yeah, just so I let you know that recently I've just been recovering from an appendectomy, so I had my appendix out, and the technical term is acute appendicitis. And I was thinking, is that because it's in the shape of a puppy? But you know, like it was quite scary being in hospital, and it just puts it all into perspective. You know, I seemed more afraid of the surgery than I am sort of performing, which, you know, is ironic really, because beforehand I was thinking, I don't have the guts to do stand-up comedy. But the reason I was so afraid of surgery, a big part of the reason was because the registrar surgeon who was performing the operation, he came in with my consent form the night before and he went, "Oh, so hi there, it's Michael, is it?" Hang on, so let me take off my glasses. Oh, sorry, Mark. Filled me with great confidence, that did. At this point, I'd rather Benny Shakes before my surgery. But yeah, no, the nurses were absolutely lovely. There was this really pretty Italian nurse, about 31 years old, and we were very friendly and chatty with each other. So I wasn't sure why she didn't give me her number. It could have been to do with our conversation was just after I'd shit myself. But yeah, no, the doctors were really great throughout, to be honest. They just kept coming in and taking my blood pressure, probably because of the ongoing news cycle, Boris not caring about COVID bodies piling up, really. Like, you know, like the amount of older people that have now died in the UK, it's like Harold Shipman's running this country. But yeah, so like I had a lot of, while I was in hospital, I had a lot of well wishes from my family, only to find out that most of them have had the very same operation. Like, what else runs in my family? Autism, mental health. Yep, that as well. So, like, with all the conditions my family have, it'd probably be very difficult to fit them all into one asylum. Although I hear there's maybe room in the Houses of Parliament. I mean, although I hated being in hospital, the one thing I did appreciate was the amount of drugs I had at my disposal. I had more needles in my arm than Pete Doherty at Glasgow. Just trying to inject a bit of humour into you there.
Hey.
But yeah, no, like when the first said drugs don't work, they clearly have never had keyhole surgery. But yeah, I just want to read you. How long have I got left, Hannah?
1 minute.
1 minute, brilliant. So I just want to read you my discharge form, which is really, really interesting. So obviously they go in and they report on other things as well. So here they put the liver, the gallbladder, pancreas, both kidneys and spleens are unremarkable. Now, I beg to differ. I mean, the day after the pubs first opened, my organs were pretty fucking remarkable with the amount of toxins they had to deal with. But yeah, so I'm really glad to perform with, tonight. You know, especially after I've just had my appendix out. I've just had to sort of sweep it up and perform for you tonight, which just goes to show that the NHS cuts are getting really bad. Thank you very much, everyone. That's been my time.
Lovely. Mark Blackwood. Look, Mark, yes, thank you for joining us as well. You're still sort of going through a recovery period stage, so fantastic. It's good you've recovered, you're here, you're alive, you're still doing jokes, and that's what's important. It's really cool. You were talking about mental health. I mean, not a lot of jobs going out there at the moment, you know, more I'm looking around, but it's good to know that well, Prince Harry has got himself a job with mental health or something. He's sort of in that department, in that area, and I think he's you know, it's nice to see he's also looking for work and got a job. I think it's pretty cool. I also think Prince Harry is quite a catch, actually. So if if I had any problems, which I could do, I would be calling him. Yes, even with any problem, like, oh, I've got a split toenail. Can I talk to you about this problem? He'd probably ask, how long have you had it for? I'd probably be like, well, as long as you've been working in mental health. Yes, that's right. A little bit of a rant there. So you all know that I think Prince Harry's catch. That was lovely, Mark. Let's get on to our next act. She's there looking fabulous. So let's have a round of applause in the Zoom room for Jaleela Galbraith.
Yay. Hey. Hello. So yes, I have recently had a lot of spare time to go through my thoughts. And I won't lie, they've gone quite dark, quite existential. A little bit paranoid, not helped by the fact I recently rewatched The Truman Show and convinced myself that I am Truman. So I had to basically tell myself that doesn't exist. That show doesn't exist. If it did, I would know about it. There is no way I would be Truman because as a kid, I didn't get picked for anything. Okay. Now, of course, I go through my thoughts and I've got a lot of time to think about my thoughts because I am a 37-year-old female comic. So, of course, I'm single and live alone. And whenever I talk about that, or I talk about, you know, sort of my childhood, about thinking that I never got picked for anything, people feel quite sorry for me, but you need not, because I was born so that I was a child in the 90s. Okay, I'm absolutely fine. Being a child in the 90s was possibly one of the hands down best decades to grow up in. Is there any other 90s kids? I'm going to say yes, judging by the way we all look. Yeah, or is that just lockdown? So things from the 90s that I still have such a place in my heart for. Magic eyes. Does anyone remember magic eyes? They were literally pictures of nonsense that if you looked at them really hard, everything looked like a dolphin. And the thing about everything that came out in the 90s, now, God love her, my mum is a harbinger of doom, okay? So anything that you wanted as a kid in the 90s, my mum had an urban legend as to why you could not have it. I wasn't allowed push pops. Push pops are those things that you sucked and then it became like the sharpest shiv you've ever known. She told me that somebody once mid-suck tripped and pierced their own tongue. I wasn't allowed slap bands. If you remember slap bands, yeah, I actually think those are why a lot of people in our generation are into BDSM. I wasn't allowed slap bands because my mum told me that somebody somewhere maybe fell asleep wearing one and never woke up. And then the main item I wasn't allowed was jewelry with my name on it. So you'd be able to get those necklaces with the little silver letters hanging off, or you'd get like the padded Alice band with your glitter name written on it. My mum informed me that paedophiles use them as bait. So basically they would read your name, pretend to know you. So like little Katie would be living her best out in her front garden with her Alice band on. Paedophile comes over, reads it, and then says, oh, Katie, your mum says, come with me. Katie thinks only a nice, trustworthy person would know my name, goes off, gets fiddled. Now, my opinion as to why this didn't work for me is because my name is Jaleela, okay? Now, it sounds like an IKEA flat pack. When you write it down, it looks like the type of thing that the Zodiac killer would have sent to the cops. And I can't tell you how many emails I've received Dear Jalapeno. Turns out they're all from Amelia. Thank you, Glenn. And also the amount of times I would type my name into a computer and then that smug side-eyeing Microsoft paperclip would look at me and say, do you mean javelin? So for over 20 years, I have been trolled by a piece of clip art. So my opinion is that if a paedophile, even a mega pedo, if they took the time to read my name and pronounced it correctly, they should get whatever they want. Okay, I would have happily gone off with them just as a thank you for saying my name correctly. So that's the main thing. That's why I felt I should be able to have jewelry as a child with my name emblazoned on it, because nobody, good or bad, can say it correctly. Now, why am I single? Free will, not mine, men's. I am the best platonic friend that any man could have, okay? If there's any man out there who wants a friend with no benefits, I am she. I don't really know how I'm meant to start dating in the middle of a pandemic, okay? I go nowhere. My bins go out more than I do. And unfortunately, because I've watched The Truman Show, the only thing a man could arouse in me at the moment is suspicion. But thank you very much. I've hit 5 minutes, bang on. Thanks very much, baby. Thanks, Anna.
Lovely. Good. Jaleela Galbraith. Yes, did I say it right? Jaleela. Okay.
I'll answer to anything.
Jaleela. Okay, yeah. It's kind of like when people go to Starbucks. I don't know. I'm the opposite in the sense my name's Anna, and I still go to Starbucks. Well, I mean, not so much now, but before. And it just, no one would get it right. I don't know, maybe if it's the way I said it or whatever. I've been Aaron. I've come back as Aaron before. I've come back as Andy, Amy, Anne. And it's very rare they actually get Anna, which is, you know, pretty, yeah, another frustration. So with Jaleela, that must be quite a challenge. Cool, lovely. We've got 3 more acts. So let's keep it going. Let's keep it going for our next act. He's there. So let's have a nice warm round of applause for our next act, Michael Freed.
Woo. Hey everybody. Good evening, UK. It is the middle of the day here in Florida, US, and I'm sitting in my car, really needing to go to the bathroom, as a matter of fact. But and yes, I keep a brick wall in my car, so it's convenient for times like this. But I'm here to answer the question of what a turtle looks like without its shell. So now you know. They had less muscles. This is what they would look like. I always enjoy the UK Zoom because I have to think carefully about my words. And I was reminded when Sophia spoke earlier about Thanksgiving dinner that you all don't have Thanksgiving, right? You just have the day you celebrate getting rid of us, which I suppose is a Thanksgiving of sorts. So I am a parent. I have 3 wonderful children, and I also have 2 other ones as well. And I'm not sure how good I am at being a parent. I appreciated Glenn's comedy. My daughter, for example, does not have imaginary friends as she's supposed to. She has imaginary parents. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to feel about it, to be honest. On the one hand, I know she shouldn't be playing with strange adults, but they seem to be pretty good with her. She tells me they're putting money away for her for college, which is a good thing, since I have not. I figured I needed to reprieve that one, Anna, since that was my joke of the week winner, you know? My daughter this week asked me what a sloppy hoe is, which was a bit troubling. And, you know, I always like to answer my kids' questions candidly. So I said, you know, it's kind of an offensive term used to refer to generally a woman who's a bit promiscuous, maybe a little free with her body. And she goes, dude, does that mean it's a woman that sleeps with a lot of boys? And I said, yeah, you could say that. And she said, I don't know why Jose in the cafeteria line then asked me if I wanted a slice of pizza or a sloppy hoe. Once again, do you guys have sloppy joes in the UK? Should have thought of that joke ahead of time. But I'm glad to be. All right. We all have sloppy hoes. Glad to be here on Zoom. I'm a little disappointed with the Zoom because this is what I look like with my appearance touched up. I think if there's one thing we've learned from all the Zoom conferences and Zoom comedy, it's that a lot of people still have Venetian blinds. If I could have dinner with anyone in the world, living or dead, I would choose living, because you'd be at dinner and it'd be kind of gross to have dinner with a dead person. I think the menstrual cycle should not be called a period until it's over. I think it should be an ellipsis up until that point. And I created that joke in real time when my 11-year-old daughter this week told me she was on her period. So that's the kind of father I am. I think the worst time to have a seizure would be while you're breakdancing. My wife gets annoyed with me when I introduce her as my ex-girlfriend. I continue to lose my no-show socks in the laundry machine, but I think that's to be expected. I don't know what's so bad about your first rodeo. I'm glad that now vegetarians can eat the things that smell and taste and look like the animals they've vowed to give up eating. It's like a guy who wants his wife to dress up to fulfill his fantasies. I want to be faithful. I just want to pretend you're someone else. My wife has told me that I need to be more empathetic, but I don't really care. She told me I should write a list of people that I want to care about, and that'll help me get outside myself. So I've started a list. First on my list are the people that deliver our mail, mailmen, postmen, because it's a tough job, and now they have to pick up and deliver our spit and send it to 23andMe, and our poop samples and send it to Colon Guard. So they didn't bargain for that. I also, on my list, is the one true Nigerian prince whose uncle died, and for perfectly legitimate reasons, he wants to get his money out of the country. It's got to be very hard for him to find help on the internet. And third on my list right now is all transgender women who recently changed their name to Karen. I think they should get a do-over, or another do-over. I'll leave you with this. I had a job interview recently on Zoom, and the Zoom interview started by the interviewer asking me to describe my background, and I did. I was very transparent. I talked about brushes with the law and experimentation with drugs and alcohol, and an abusive upbringing and broken marriages. And after about 12 minutes, she interrupted me and said, "That's all well and good, Mr. Freed, but when I asked about your background, I meant your background. What is that behind you?" So those are Venetian blinds. Do you like them? I am Mike Freed. Thanks for having me. Anna, are you frozen? Am I frozen? Or am I supposed to do an encore?
She's frozen.
Well, who is next? Perhaps we can introduce that person. I know there's only 2 comics left.
I think
shout out to yourself.
I think it may well be me, but
oh, apparently I'm the host now.
Glenn's now the host.
Glenn, you're the host, so I guess you.
Sorry, what? Give us your name.
My name?
Dom. Yep.
My name is Dominic McGovern.
Right then, let's try this. Ladies and gentlemen, your next act is going to be Dominic McGovern. If I can get him highlighted on the screen.
Oh,
let's see. Boom, here he comes.
Hey.
Hi, how are you all?
Good.
Good. I'm really glad to be here.
You're not supposed to go to sleep. You're supposed to be watching this.
Yeah. Yeah, Richard, you're supposed to be watching this.
Don't go to sleep.
It's my first Zoom, actually.
Should I pause that?
Yeah.
You can pause that, Richard, if you want to.
Sorry, give me 1 second, Dom. Dad, shut up. Ruining the show.
Sorry.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here. It's my first Zoom gig. I've been quite nervous to be doing it on Zoom because I've been told that you can't hear anyone laughing at your jokes. So it's actually quite a lot like my live sets. Most of the Zooms I've been on in the last year so far have been with my therapist, where I talk mostly about my daddy issues. But this is comedy, not therapy. So when my dad left me, I'm joking, I've actually got quite a good relationship with my dad. The only daddy issues I do have are with the 40-year-old men who are ghosting me on Grindr. That's right, I'm gay. Surprise! Yeah, I am gay. Everyone calm down. I do miss being gay, not like I still am, but I miss being actively gay. I really miss going out. I miss being at Pride. It's coming up to what would be Pride season ordinarily. And I really miss going out with the people who I'm closest to in the world and celebrating together, celebrating the most important thing, which is how easy it is to sneak drugs past a bouncer. All you do is just roll it up, spit on it, straight up there, and then you walk right through. It's so easy. You're welcome for future reference.
Hi guys.
Hi Anna.
Good. Dominic, have you started? Cool.
No,
Sorry.
I have started. I'm just talking about how much I miss Pride.
I'm glad you started. Thanks. I kind of went out. My internet went off. But yes, keep going.
Okay.
Oh,
Had a few
yeah,
technical
sorry.
hiccups, but I promise everyone has been rolling in the aisles with everything I'm saying. Look, Ryan, we've even had some walkouts because it's been too funny, if anything. No, I was just talking about how much I miss Pride, and the Pride that I kind of miss the most is straight Pride. By straight Pride, I mean Love Island. I really miss it. I know I shouldn't like Love Island. I know it's really bad, super toxic, and it's incredibly heterosexual, which, look, no offense, I know we've got a lot of straight people in the audience tonight. I've got nothing against straight people. 2 of my best parents are straight. So no offense to all of you. But I am fascinated by Love Island because everyone on there is so much more confident than I could ever hope to be. And I think that is because every person who's on there, to get cast on that show, you have to have never been bullied at school. None of the people who are on that show were ever given a bowl cut by their mum the day before year 8, because let me tell you, that is an energy that stays with you for the rest of your life. I was bullied at school, can you tell? Can you? If just sound off in the comments. I know the people watching on YouTube, just let me know. Yeah, no, I was bullied at school. I had a bowl cut. I was very, very big. I was very, very gay. And I had braces and a lisp, which is just ginger hair and glasses away from being a full house at Bully Bingo. And the sort of like resultant body issues from that mean that when I do go to Pride, I'm always thinking about how I look. I'm super conscious of that, which I'm trying not to do. The last year has given us a lot of time to reflect, you know. So I started doing exercise that makes me feel good. I've started doing yoga. I don't know if anyone does yoga. If you've not heard of it, it's this ancient spiritual practice that was invented by a white lady called Adrienne on YouTube. And I fucking love yoga. I'm a slut for yoga. I want yoga to bend me over and make me its bitch, you know? I'm a namaste little girl. Yeah, rearrange my chakras, daddy, etc. No, I've been thinking a lot recently about why I'm not a huge fan of my body, and I think it's because I come from a huge Irish Catholic family, which means that in my mum's house there are more pictures of Jesus than there are of me. And the one thing that we all know about Jesus is how great his body is. When you're, you know, that moment when you're a kid and you realize that your parents are like real people, real lives separate to you. When your mum is an Irish Catholic, there comes a point where you have to accept that she sort of wants to fuck Jesus. And it makes sense. No, it does make sense why. If you look at him, he is shredded, he's ripped, he's got a 6-pack, and you know that V, that you know, the V that like a Hollywood actor has. I don't know what you would call that, like a dick runway or like cock arrows. I don't know. You know? But it makes sense. It does make sense why he looks like that. He puts in the work. He goes to the gym. Do you know how much core strength it takes to stand like that for 12 hours? and the muscle definition that you must get from carrying around a crucifix. Sins are heavy. Fun fact, as well as Christianity, Jesus also invented CrossFit. Yeah, no, the one thing that people always ask when they find out that I'm a gay Catholic is, how was that for you? Which is basically their way of being like, how traumatized are you? Very. What's it like being a gay Catholic? And my parents' views on my sexuality are a lot like their views on climate change, in that my dad doesn't believe in it and my mum thinks it's going to kill us all in 12 years. And that's where I leave you. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Govern, yes. Brilliant. So, like the CrossFit, I was always wondering who invented that. Now I know. Well, evening. Thank you everybody for joining us at Frenzy Comedy New Material Night. And this is for the moment. This is going to be the last of the New Material Night show, just throughout the summer. The second later show will continue, so you can still catch up on YouTube and Facebook as well. So, but it's been really fun, really lovely, and it's fun to meet sort of comics from different areas of the world, and who knows, maybe just down the road as well, you know. But either way, it's been a really nice night. Thank you to our acts as well, and our audience members as well. Richard as well. Thank you.
I apologise for not muting my mic.
That's right. I don't really like it when it's not muted, so we can hear your laughs. So that's been a pleasure. And thank you to and thank you, Clive, for watching as well. And thank you to our lovely acts. So for Dominic, Jaleela, Ben Jakes, Glenn Brayley, Chris Barnes, Michael Freed, Mark Birkwood, who's there. Sophia's coming in. Oh, well, let's say a quick hi to her. She's just had her vaccine. See if she's okay. I'm sure she will be. Hi, Sophia. You came just at the right time, Sophia. We're just about to give you a round of applause for your set. She's connecting to audio. Almost there. It's nice for her to come back. That was a quick visit to the pharmacy. Cool. Is she there? Either way, Frenzy, the latest show will be on at normal throughout the summer. There will be spots slightly different, but they will be there. So just have a round of applause for yourselves again one more time, guys. A pleasure.